Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the 143, episode 84. We are here with you, Under Review Live.
We're finally back together again in the HQ. First episode back in College Station, and let me tell you, we are excited. Things are about to amp up. We're just feeling good right now.
Football season is just around the corner. It feels like it is taking forever to get here, but school starts this week for us. But this is what's most important.
Absolutely.
This right here. And we feel like back in our element. Zoom is great and everything, but this is where it is. This is how it started.
And
Nick.
the sound quality and video quality is just going to be a lot better from here on out. We're back together, so everything is just looking good.
So welcome back in to the HQ. Let's kick it off with the stat of the week, brought to you by Andrews Logistics. Nick, this is an interesting stat for you.
Okay.
The Baltimore Ravens 24 preseason game win streak was snapped last night by the Commanders. And let me tell you something. The sports world has been raving about this. And I got to say, that's the most pointless stat I've ever heard in my life.
I was about to say, I guess I didn't know that the win streak was a thing until Monday night when it was snapped. So I was like, I just kind of said whatever.
That is just the most popular stat that is out there right now. So I thought I would bring it up and just say I don't think here at Under Review we really care about the preseason at all.
I was going to say that's not really super impressive.
It doesn't mean anything.
It accounts to nothing, basically.
Player from the Commanders came out and said it's a stupid stat, and I would have to agree with him.
I mean, absolutely.
Anyways, I just thought I'd share that with y'all. So that's the stat of the week.
Congratulations. And so your player of the week is Mr. Jonathan Taylor, who was most recently given the green light to, in regards to looking at being traded to other places. So let's just give his stats from last year. He had a down year. Okay,
he did.
Battled some injuries. 861 yards for 4 touchdowns. But the season before that, 2021, that was when he really popped off, was having an MVP caliber type season. He rushed for 1,811 yards for 18 touchdowns. So there's an extremely high ceiling for this guy.
Yep.
And so just super excited to see where he goes. He could get put in a really good situation. He's going to make an impact wherever he goes. So I'm excited to see where my boy Jonathan Taylor goes next.
Yep, and we will talk about that here in a second, a little bit more in depth. There's some stuff surrounding him, but first we're going to dive into a little bit of
a scandal.
A little bit of a sad story for us as fans, but the movie The Blind Side. There is controversy that has been brewing for about a couple weeks now. And I'll let Nick explain that.
Essentially, the entire thing was a scam, basically.
The whole premise.
Which, at first, when this movie first came out, I think everyone was a little bit skeptical, right? So, unfortunately, it does not come as a surprise that that's what happened. But essentially, basically, the Tuohy family, which was the family that brought in Michael Oher off the streets out of his unfortunate situation, gave him a home, gave him a bed, gave him food, gave him clothes, whatever. Apparently, they made millions and millions of dollars off of his name, off of his image, and he saw none of that money.
The movie was and is still very, very popular.
Yes.
Today. It's a great movie.
Yes.
I would say it's one of my favorites. I know it's one of yours as well.
It is a good movie.
Great story. Family adopts this guy off the street, kind of helps him get his life on track. He's a great left tackle, and he went on to, in real life, he became an NFL player because of all that.
Yeah.
With that opportunity. Well, apparently, allegedly, when signing his adoption papers, when he was, I want to say 17, 18.
Yeah, something like that.
When the family had him sign the adoption papers to adopt him, they also, apparently, in that contract, he was signing away the rights
to his name, essentially.
In terms of, business. So basically,
he was like, I think that the technical court term was conservatorship, which basically was like, since the Tuohys were his legal guardians now. Technically, they could use his name to make like business deals and
And it
make
goes
millions
to
of
them.
dollars, and it goes to them, and he doesn't see any of it.
So hundreds of
essentially.
millions of dollars have been made off this movie,
Right.
and he's seen none of it from the movie. Now he had a successful NFL career, made good money there. It's not like he's broke right now or anything, but he hasn't. It's a movie about him. It's his life story, and apparently, not only is the life story not completely accurate, but he has not seen any money from that. And this is all allegedly. It's going to court. They're going to work through it. I gotta say, if it's true, it's a little messed up from the Tui family, and I think, in my opinion, he has every right to try to go collect.
I mean,
What's his?
supposedly, I want to say the figure was $10 million off of that, and so I think it went out evenly among the 4 members of the family, being the 2 parents, the biological daughter, and the biological son.
That's just what they made off the movie.
But yeah,
The movie itself is
what they made,
made a
like
lot
what
of money.
they personally got
Yeah.
off the movie was like, I want to say it was $10 million, and it was split between the 4 of them.
But he didn't get a cut.
He didn't get any of it, and like he was kind of 90% of the
I don't
story.
feel like that story happens without him
I really don't feel like it does either.
because it's about him.
Right.
And obviously right now there's just we don't know the facts, we don't know what's going on, but we do know he was not included in the split. Like he didn't get any money from the movie.
One thing I
We
do,
do know that as a fact.
I mean, it is a little reassuring because like he made it in the NFL.
He did. He had a great.
He had a great career. So obviously, yes, he lost out on millions and millions of dollars. But what I can appreciate is it wasn't life ruining. Like he was
Right.
at least able to still be successful.
I mean, he got a full ride.
Make a name for himself, get a full ride scholarship, make a great career, make millions of dollars. But he just lost out on so much initially. But I do hope he gets all of it back.
What we were talking about off air was also you have to kind of appreciate the way that people have approached him and
Yeah.
asked him questions about it. And even though it's a pretty big lawsuit going on right now and everyone knows about it, like he's not willing to make public comments about it. He's wanting to try to keep it in house and try to sort it out with the family.
They've been
so-
keeping it airtight, I haven't seen any like comments being made from either side. Obviously, like Joseph said, it's just staying in the court. They're
Which is
trying
good.
to figure
Yeah.
it out between Michael Orr, the family, and then like in front of the U.S. court. So it's not trying to ruin each other's reputation.
Yeah.
We're so used to seeing people bash each other on Twitter and all over social media or whatever, and they're kind of taking the opposite
Yeah.
approach when it comes to this particular problem.
I guess that's how I would handle it too if I was in a lawsuit with my family. But hopefully we'll never come to that.
I mean, I don't think you're in danger of that.
I hope not.
Hopefully.
I would win. I would
Yeah,
win. I want to
obviously.
go on record saying I would win.
Obviously,
Okay.
we win in everything we do.
Yeah,
so
we
that
do.
I
We're
was
winners
I was
here.
never questioning that.
But it's a unfortunate situation for them, and it kind of just ruins the magic of that movie a little bit. That story.
Yeah.
Throws some.
It obviously
shade on it.
makes it not as good because what made it so good was that it was based on a true story. So now it's not.
Yeah. I mean, it's still
kind of.
based on a true story, but now it's more just like a movie.
Yeah.
Now it's not
It's just
really
a
like,
cool
oh,
movie
this
now.
actually happened
Right.
exactly like this. But anyways, that's just something that's going on in the sports world right now.
That's pretty big right now.
It's a big news story. Another big news story that's come out is Jonathan Taylor and the Colts have been going at it. Jonathan Taylor wants a new contract. He's only played for 2 years, right? So he wants a new
Or
contract.
he's played 3 years.
3 years. Wants a new
Just finished
contract
his third
now.
year,
Wants a big extension. The Colts don't want to give it to him, and so they have given him. They 2 weeks ago said they weren't ever going to trade him. They weren't going to trade him right now or whatever, and they said they definitely were going to, and now they've given him permission to
He's
seek
got
a
the
trade.
green light.
So Nick, thoughts on that?
Obviously, we always talk about, anytime we talk about NFL trade or contract or whatever, we talk about injuries. That's a big red flag, especially at the running back position because you have to sustain so many hits and so much contact every single game that it's like it it puts a big target or red flag on your back when you have sustained injury, because
You're not worth as much.
then you're not worth as much because
As a younger
you never
guy.
know, because your season, or not your career could end at any moment, especially as a running back. So, and obviously it's been a huge deal this year about running backs getting paid, and so Jonathan Taylor's getting frustrated with the organization, and he's been frustrated with them for a while. So he's trying to get away from the Colts, and I think they've been talking about a good destination for him being the Miami Dolphins.
I think that would work out great.
I think so as well.
I think the Dolphins have good trade capital to give.
They have lots of space, and they're one of those teams that could do some real damage. They have a great defense. They've got some star talent on offense. So it's like if they get a running back, like they get a solid running back in Jonathan Taylor.
What were his yards per year?
So in 2020, he got 1,169, and that was playing 15 games.
Okay.
And then that next year was 2021. That was his big breakout year. He had 1,811, and then last year, 2022, he only had 861. But that was through 11 games, so that's still
Not bad.
pretty solid for only having played 11 games.
I don't think that we've already talked about this. I don't think it's worth it to pay a running back who's been hurt. It's just not. I think the Colts are in the right for this decision.
Getting hurt in his third year, especially.
Well, Colin Cowherd made a good point on the Herd about the fact that running quarterbacks are now taking the majority of running yards on a team. Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, they're taking it. Like, you don't need great running backs to go with them because they are pretty much the running
They're
back.
getting used more, or running backs are getting used more as a receiver.
And
that's why we've seen guys that are breaking out now are guys that are your pass-catching backs, like an Austin Eckler type
and they
player.
last longer.
Right.
And Anthony Richardson is more of a running quarterback. He's a dual-threat quarterback, and I think the idea is he's going to take the majority of those rushing yards anyways, running options and stuff. So he doesn't need an amazing running back next to him. He probably just needs an average one, and they'll work out just fine. I think this is good for the Colts. I don't think that they need to pay him. If they can, right now, you can't really get much for running backs. So if they could trade him and get some good stuff for him, they want a first-round pick. I don't think they're going to get a first-round pick for him, but that's what they want. If they can trade him somewhere and get some good capital from it, I think it's a good move for them. And I don't think that Jonathan Taylor needs to be acting like he deserves a huge payday right now.
But also, speaking with the Dolphins, I think that bulks up their running back room a ton.
Tua needs help.
Yes. Obviously, the big thing with Tua, right, is the concussion deal, right? Because that changes the scenario a little bit, just because concussions are so much more severe,
Right.
that it almost changes quality of life there as well.
And he's had three.
I want to say it was 3.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Just last season.
Which, hey, I will say this. In the preseason, I saw a clip of him. I can't remember if he was getting sacked or getting hit after he threw. He was, like, going to land on the back of his head, but he, like, rolled over and caught himself with his arms. So there is progress being made. So
He
hopefully,
did learn how to fall this offseason.
I was about to say, hopefully he, like, officially learned how to fall this offseason. And so that should help him in the near future, because that was a huge problem last year, was he just kept falling on the back of his head, unfortunately. But I think that problem's been solved. Hopefully.
Oh, yeah. I think the Colts have been making some interesting moves. I mean, I don't think there's much hope for the Colts this season. I think they've got a good prospect in Richardson, but they hired Jeff Saturday as their head coach. I don't understand that.
I think that's the
completely.
only thing that matters for the Colts this year, is just seeing how good Anthony Richardson is. I think everything else is just kind of
They've got a decent O-line.
a side note.
Yeah, but they're not expected to do much this year.
Their defense is okay.
I think the Jags are heavy favorites to win that division anyways.
They have a solid receiving core, but obviously it all just depends on how good Anthony Richardson turns out to be.
I think their best case scenario is they're battling the Titans for a wild card spot.
I would agree.
I think the Jags.
And from the way that they've, or from the failures they've had in the last couple years. I would say that's a huge step up because they tried the whole signing veteran quarterbacks for a year. You know, they had Carson Wentz and Phillip Rivers and Matt Ryan, and that was not great. All three of those failed miserably. So hopefully they can get their franchise guy in Anthony Richardson. You know,
agreed. But yeah, that's what's happening out there in the NFL world right now. Not a whole lot, but we are inching ever so closer to the NFL season.
We're getting super duper excited.
Yes.
You know, Cowboys. I don't know what's inbound. I was going to say something inbound, but I don't know what's inbound for the Cowboys. I'm expecting what we got last year. Solid success in the regular season.
Probably not great in the playoffs.
All means nothing in the end.
Yep.
So we'll see. We'll see where the road takes us. So here's where I like to end our shows and under review. I brought to you a quote from the fastest man on the planet, Usain Bolt. Kill them with success and bury them with a smile. And that's the truth.
That is the truth. Take that with you this week. We appreciate you tuning in. See you next week for another episode of Under Review.